Hi, I'm Bernard. Today we're going to talk about removing hair extensions the right way. Removing hair extensions the correct way can avoid so much damage, from breaking hair off to bald spots, redness, irritation. So let's go through the steps of removing extensions without causing those problems. And these are the tools that you're going to need to use. You're going to need a removal tool, a fine-tooth comb, and removal solution. Your choice, the gel remover or the liquid remover. So to remove extensions, you have a choice between two removers, a gel alcohol-based solution and a liquid acetone-based solution. The gel remover stays still, so if you put a bond in a little too close to the front hairline, or a bond is aggravating a client a little bit or too close to a hairline and you just want to take it out real quick, the gel's going to stay still and it's not going to get on any of the other bonds. The liquid remover, being acetone based, it's going to spray instead of staying still. It's going to spray, cover a few more bonds, and some people prefer that. Being acetone based works a little bit faster, and so to remove a full head they would rather spray and cover more bonds at the same time. We're going to demo both today. We're going to use the gel alcohol-based remover to remove one bond, and then just to show you a little faster process, we'll use the liquid acetone-based remover to take out 3 at one time. So one of the most important things about removing extensions is to soften the bond before you put the removal solution on. It makes sense to just put the removal solution on first because it's called removal solution and people think that it's going to do all the work. You're going to do most of the work. You're going to soften that bond a little bit first, and especially a flat bond, you're going to want to turn sideways and flatten it out the other way. It'll start to soften that bond a little bit better. Maybe even hold half the bond and bend the bottom of the bond back and forth just a little bit to soften it. Then I'm going to put a little bit of removal solution on the top and bottom of this bond, and then I'll begin to move this tool again. Now I think one of the more important things about removing this bond is not how hard I squeeze, but how many times. So it's more about quantity than pressure. So I'm going to squeeze the bond sideways, and I'm going to squeeze the bond this way multiple times, and that's going to start to soften. I'll let that saturate for just a few minutes. It'll start to soften that bond. It'll start to turn a little white and cloudy, and then towards the end, I'll find that I can support the hair at the top here, pull the extension at the bottom, and the bond will just slide out. Now you can see if you've done it right and you waited long enough to let it saturate, there's no damage, no broken hairs. So now I'm going to show you a little faster process. I developed this myself. I just wanted it to work a little bit quicker. So what I did was I took 3 bonds. Again, we'll soften each bond. I'll take each one, squeeze it a little sideways, squeeze this one, and go sideways with this one also. Take this 3rd bond, take it sideways, and then in some cases, if they're round bonds, you can twist all 3 of them together, and sometimes even with the flat bonds, just depends on how much they've grown out. Squeeze all 3 bonds at the same time instead of taking the one-by-one process. Then put a removal solution on. This time we're going to use the liquid remover, so it's going to cover a few more bonds, and as you can see, it's starting to touch some of them also. So if you didn't want to remove these over here, you wouldn't want to use this product, but we will want to remove those later. So I'll put this on, all of them like that, and then I'll start to squeeze these bonds again, all 3 twisted together. I'll soften every one of these bonds all at the same time, squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and more about quantity of squeezes, not how hard I press again. And then I will let that soak. So this is the little trick I developed a few years ago when we were removing tons of hair extensions to go a little faster. We would do the 3, let it soak, and I work on 3 sets of 3, so 9 bonds at a time. Soften the 3, apply the liquid, then go to the 3rd ones. I would soften all 3 of these bonds by twisting them together, soften them, apply this removal solution, the liquid, spray, squeeze, 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 let them start to soak. Then I would go to the next set of 3 and do the same thing. Squeeze each one or all 3 at the same time, apply the removal solution, start to soften, soften, soften. Don't go much further than 9, because if this starts to dry, it'll start to harden again. This is still soft and damp, so what will happen is I may apply a little more solution, and I may twist all 3 together, squeeze a little bit more. Maybe I'll just work on one at a time and just see what's happening. And what will happen is if I can hold this hair up here at the top to support the hair from coming out of the client's head and avoid some pain possibly, and pull the ends of the hair, and sometimes it'll just slide right out, which this one is easily sliding out, making me look good. But sometimes it's not quite ready to come out, so you'll need to use a fine-tooth comb and maybe give it a little push up here. It's best if you support the hair at the top like this and then give it a little pull. And if you notice it's not quite coming, if it's giving you a little trouble, you want to go back with the tool and squeeze just a little bit more. This is how you're going to avoid damage. Most hairdressers are worried about getting these extensions out fast. I think the client's more worried about no damage. So work the bond just a little more, then give it a little tug with a tail comb, and if it starts to slide out, it's good. So then that third one, we'll give it a little push. Yep, it's coming right out. And then after they've been in a few months, there might be a little bit of tangling right above the bond from some of the hairs that have shed from the client's head but were sealed in with the bond. They need to be detangled. So then is when you want to continue to comb through these little tangles above here. Get all of the tangles out right now while you have the aid of a removal solution, and then you can move on to the next set. And that's how you do it. Thanks for watching. For more tips like these, watch our other videos. Until next time.